News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on Blip TV and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, no retribution. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show, and I encourage you to go to the Paltalk News Network website, which resides at reportergary.com, reportergary.com. Check it early and often, just like voting in Chicago for stories that you may or may not see, hear, or read in the mainstream media. And if it were not for the State of the Union address, we would probably be, and we probably will tomorrow, focusing on Egypt, where there's a chance of an overthrow of the government there. It's amazing, and we have some just spectacular video on the website. I encourage you to go and check that, but not until the show ends. Our first caller is Jim, and he's joining us from Michigan. Jim, welcome to News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network.
Yeah, I watched the president's speech too, and I agree with the fact that we have to create jobs for people. But this idea of going green and making cars that people can't afford and escalating utility bills that people can't afford, that's not going to help either. Suggestions weren't made. The jobs that he only mentioned would be temporary, like building the second bridge linking Canada to the United States. And you're getting federal funds for that. I'd rather have federal funds given so that there are more stable jobs, not jobs that are going to last 4 or 5 years, but can last long enough to raise a child and support your family. That's really what we need, not a token job for just a couple of years. That's not going to work. We've got to be more competitive. Our businesses and focus more on America than we do on putting our trade from a major corporation overseas. This is killing America, and we are too dependent upon China. And I don't think the president, in working with China as much as he does, is caring about the American people.
Okay, thank you for that, Jim. Christian?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. You know, I'd like to just one piece. I get your sentiment about the need for having good jobs that are able to serve as career opportunities for people. But we are in such a huge jobs hole at this point, Jim. We're talking about, 7+ million jobs that we lost during the recession. We should have added about 4.5 million jobs during that time to keep up with new entrants to the labor force. So we're talking about 11 million jobs at the low end that we need to add to the economy just to get to the labor market that we had before the recession, which wasn't all that great to begin with. So it's going to take jobs of all stripes. It's going to take investing in opportunities that are going to be part of the U.S. economy for the next 30 years, but it also means getting people desperately to work now, even if it is for a period of 4 to 5 years. Because keep in mind, for people who are out of work for 99 weeks or 2 years or 3 years, as is becoming more common during this recession, the longer they stay out of work, the more difficult it is for them to be competitive in getting jobs in the private sector when those jobs become available. So to the extent that we can get people working so that they can have more sustained work histories and keep their skills sharp, that's going to better position them when the economy does, in fact, begin to add jobs at a better clip than it's doing right now.
The guest is Christian Dorsey. He is Director of External and Government Affairs at the Economic Policy Institute in Washington, D.C., a progressive economic think tank. Let's go to John Paul, who's joining us from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. John Paul, welcome to News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network.
Thanks for welcoming me. I just wanted to comment on the green cars issue we were talking about earlier for a brief period of time.
Yes, go ahead. Comment away.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that the way that we're doing this with the supposed green cars with electricity is that if you're powered by electricity, you're 54% of the time our electricity comes from coal. So I don't see how that's green at all.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Probably with regard to the ultimate emissions, but probably not so much with regard to the creation of the energy initially, right?
No, I think
Correct, because now
that's
you're
right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John Paul.
That's okay, because now you're using not just gasoline, but you're using gasoline and coal.
Well, and thanks for the call, John Paul. Christian Dorsey, ProPublica just did a story yesterday that we carried on our Paltalk News Network website at reportedarea.com, which suggests that natural gas actually is consuming a lot of energy through the manufacture of it, and there's leakage, and there's all kinds of problems, and it's really not such a clean, inexpensive alternative after all to oil.
Yeah, Gary, a couple comments on this. John Paul, first of all, where in Pennsylvania are you from? Are you still there? Well, if you're anywhere from Western Pennsylvania, go Steelers. I just had to put that out there.
Okay. Well, if you like Big Ben, you're no longer my friend.
Please forgive me. I've been excited. But anyway, I think John Paul hits at a critical thing, and Gary, you're mentioning it. We use the word green as if it automatically means this is the best possible thing for the environment, and it's an absolute, positive boon environmentally. But, green is used relative to the baseline, and the baseline is through our traditional petroleum-based automotive system. And electric cars are green compared to that, but does this mean we're talking about no emissions, no carbon footprint in the construction and manufacture of that vehicle? Absolutely not. But, you can certainly see how over time, as you get cleaner coal and better electricity technologies through modernizing the grid, and then you remove, fuel oil emissions from the roads, and you're powering these things largely through what is a cleaner technology going in, that this has a pretty big impact overall. But if you look at a hybrid electric car today versus a complete petroleum-based petroleum engine car today, the differences are not as stark as most people think.
But there are strategic advantages to going green because we're no longer dependent on foreign fuel, and perhaps we'll get into fewer wars over oil. To bring freedom to other people. I'm sorry. I made a big mistake there. I apologize. Christian Dorsey.
No, and over time, those technologies will become a lot cleaner and greener. And if you replaced, every, gas combustion engine with, a clean electric car, you're talking about a huge impact overall.
Exactly. Christian Dorsey from the Economic Policy Institute in Washington, D.C. We'd love to have you on again. You're a great guest. We're going to a short break, then to the Washington Report, and then to our correspondent, Jonathan Wolfman, also in Washington, for more analytical looks at the President's State of the Union address. And we want to hear from you as well. I'll be right back after this short time out. You're online with News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network. Let's go to Cassandra in the United Kingdom. Cassandra, welcome to News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network.
Thank you, Gary, and hello, Christian. Well, I think the point at which the president got it right was when he talked about education. Very wise move, I think, because everybody on both sides of the aisle have to agree that education is the is a thing that we have to make the investment in. And he talked about the way the world is changing, and the technology, the way technology is changing. And I just wonder whether, in actual fact, he's going to make. I mean, he mentioned one thing. I can't remember what the name of the program is. It was
The Race to the Top.
That's it. That's the one.
Yes.
And you know, and he's saying, oh, this will replace Every Child Matters. You know, I don't know whether this sort of ping pong effect in terms of education is in actual fact going to achieve anything. You know, how much is he prepared to put into this? How much of a commitment is there? And how are you going to continue to develop the skills? In what way is he going to restructure? These are the questions that I think he needed to address. And I know it's only the State of the Union, and that there will be further discussions on that. But you know, I think the whole issue around education was in fact something that I feel needs to be addressed. I wonder what your comments are on that, Christian.
Thank you so much. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, presidents talk about education in such a manner that it's hard to ever tell why there's any discord at all in Washington, because Republicans talk about education the same way Democrats do. And I can't imagine, you know, with the exception of some of the criticisms of the No Child Left Behind law, you know, George W. Bush could have said the very same thing about education. So what does it mean? And I think you have every right to be skeptical about this, because the United States has really failed to nationally move forward with a coherent education policy. It's just not something that we've done very well at all. We've got this, you know, we've got this history, and we've got this ethic that education really is a state and local concern, and that the national government has a minimal role to play. And I think the ground the president was trying to stake last night was, we can't continue to do that anymore. We're competing in a global economy where education is a key factor in how well Americans are going to do with regard to their living standards. If we continue to treat it like a local issue, we're going to continue to fall behind, and we're eventually going to fail. So I saw in his words the potential that we now kind of start to think about education as a national priority, but history kind of tells me to remain a little skeptical.
The guest is Christian Dorsey, D-O-R-S-E-Y. He is the Director of External and Government Affairs at the Economic Policy Institute in Washington, D.C.